Imagine this scene. A small, really quiet village in Sohag, Egypt.
Deep respectability tradition.
Exactly. It's late evening, that kind of deep, dry quiet you get in the desert. Almost feels safe, you know?
Secure, like nothing bad could happen there.
And then suddenly just complete chaos. A huge crash, like an explosion. Glass shattering everywhere.
And that smell hits you almost immediately. Heavy smoke, but also fuel. Unmistakable.
People just pour out of their houses, running towards this two-story home. Belongs to Haja Sariya, 85 years old, deeply respected.
And the upper floor, her sanctuary for decades. It's just engulfed in flames, raging.
But down in the street, amidst all the panic, there's Amal, Sariya's daughter-in-law. She's 50.
And she's putting on an absolute masterclass in shock and grief, just devastatingly convincing.
Her story, simple, tragic. Poor Sariya must have left the stove on. An accident.
Everyone buys it. Why wouldn't they? A heartbreaking accident.
But what we're diving into today is the truth behind that performance. Because this wasn't an accident. It was the climax, really, of 5 years of calculated greed, betrayal,
And murder. It's a story about how one woman took a home built on integrity and twisted it into something truly sinister.
and how she systematically destroyed a family, primarily by manipulating the victim's own son, the man who called her wife.
Yeah, the physical crime, the fire, the strangulation, that's almost the epilogue.
Right.
The real violence here, the core of it, was psychological. You absolutely have to understand how Amal dismantled the family's trust first.
All right, let's go back then. 5 years before the fire, 2013. Tell us about the family before Amal.
Well, you have Haja Sariya, around 80 at this point, like you said, beloved religious woman. Her husband died back in 2003.
And her son, Saber.
Saber was 47, very devoted son, apparently dedicated his life to caring for her. He hadn't married, partly because he couldn't have children, and his focus was Sariya.
Any other family?
2 other sons, but they were working abroad. So Saber was the one there, the primary caregiver, day to day.
Okay, so that devotion, that responsibility Saber felt, that becomes the weak spot.
Precisely. In 2013, Saber gets this business opportunity in Cairo. Good chance for him financially.
But he can't leave his mother alone. She's elderly.
Exactly. He needs someone reliable. And critically, he needs a wife who understands his situation, specifically that there won't be children.
And that's where Amal comes in.
Enter Amal. She's 45, divorced, no children of her own. On paper, she seems like the perfect solution.
And she agrees immediately.
Instantly. Promises Saber she'll take wonderful care of Sariya. And you see right there, she's not just offering marriage, she's offering Saber relief. Relief from his guilt, his worry. She solved his biggest problem.
That's potent.
Incredibly. But Sariya, she felt something was off right from the start.
Like an instinct.
Yeah, just this unsettling feeling. But she couldn't quite put her finger on why. So she kept quiet. She wanted her son to be happy, didn't want to rock the boat, potentially ruin his marriage before it even started. A fateful decision, really.
So what was the living arrangement?
Amal moved into the ground floor. It's quite spacious, 4 rooms, big hall, its own entrance. Sariya stayed upstairs in her familiar space.
And Saber.
He was only there for about 10 days after the wedding before he had to leave for Cairo for his work.
10 days. Wow. And Amal starts her strategy immediately.
Pretty much. On the surface, she treated Sariya well enough. Correctly, you might say. But it was very controlled.
How so?
She set specific, very limited times for them to interact. Outside of those times, Sariya was essentially cut off. It immediately established this hierarchy, the sense of dependency.
Making Sariya feel like a guest or even a burden in her own home.
Exactly. And when Saber came back for short visits during that first year, Sariya actually lied to him.
She told him everything was fine.
She told him all was very good. She saw Saber seemed happy, pleased with his marriage, and she didn't want to cause conflict. She feared he might divorce Amal if she complained.
She was trying to protect his happiness.
At her own expense. And this played right into Amal's hands. What you need to grasp about Amal is what the sources call her experience of a different kind.
Meaning?
She knew how to manage men, how to satisfy Saber, gain his complete trust very quickly. It wasn't just about caring for Sariya. It was about making Saber feel like his life was finally sorted. His wife was happy. His mother was cared for.
So he became emotionally reliant on Amal's version of reality.
Completely. She built this wall around him. He was essentially isolated from his mother's true experience from day one.
And with that foundation of control laid, things escalate.
Rapidly. Within about a year, Amal starts hosting these late-night gatherings. Neighbor women initially,
How late?
often going until 3 a.m. She'd do a quick check on Sariya upstairs beforehand, then basically ignore her for the rest of the night.
And Sariya hears this.
Oh yeah. Upstairs, she starts hearing things that were just unthinkable in that house before. Loud laughter, coarse joking, what's described as indecent talk.
This wasn't just normal socializing.
Clearly not. The tone shifted dramatically. This deeply religious, respected home, the sounds coming from downstairs were changing its character entirely.
Did Sariya say anything?
She did. She eventually confronted Amal, pleaded with her, think of the house's reputation, the family standing.
And Amal's response.
Ice cold. Basically, it's my house too now. Stay out of it. Just shut her down completely.
Wow. No attempt to reassure her or anything.
None.
Yeah.
And then Amal does something even more insidious. She realizes Sariya might talk to Saber.
Oh, so she strikes first.
Preemptively. She calls Saber in Cairo, feeds him this story that his mother, who's now 83, is starting to show signs of senility.
Oh, no.
Yeah, claiming Sariya is causing trouble, imagining things, getting confused, weaponizing her age against her.
That's brutal. Because it gives Saber an out.
Exactly. It's easier for him to believe his elderly mother is confused than to believe his new wife is behaving badly. It protects his idea of a happy marriage.
So what happened when Saber came back?
He delivered the most devastating blow. He went to his mother, Sariya, and told her to avoid Amal, to not annoy his wife.
He sided completely with Amal.
Completely. Sariya was crushed, utterly heartbroken, and at that point, she just shut down. She decided silence was the only way to protect Saber's marriage, believing she was now the problem.
Amal had won that round decisively.
Totally. Her position was secure, Saber's loyalty was locked down, and now the shift towards outright crime becomes, well, almost logical for her.
From psychological control to running a business.
A criminal enterprise. She starts by narrowing down her circle of friends, gets rid of most of them, settles on 3 women.
And these women were?
Confirmed later to be sex workers.
Okay.
Amal basically pitched them an idea.
Which one?
Use her house, Sariya's house, as a venue. The ground floor. 4 rooms, private entrance. It had this built-in cover of respectability because of Sariya's reputation.
So the house's good name becomes the shield for a brothel.
Precisely. She offered them a safe, respected place to operate, and naturally she'd take a cut of their earnings.
Unbelievable. And this obviously requires some startup capital, maybe, to furnish the place properly.
It seems so. And Amal knew exactly where to find it. She'd noticed something upstairs in Sariya's room.
What was it?
About 8,000 Egyptian pounds in cash. And also, significantly, Sariya's burial shrouds the kafan.
Money she'd saved for her own funeral.
Yes, a very traditional, important preparation, showing dignity even in planning for death.
But Amal didn't see tradition.
She saw capital, 8,000 pounds, enough to upgrade the furnishings downstairs, make the business look more professional.
So the money Sariya saved for her final dignity becomes the investment fund for Amal's brothel.
That's the grim reality. And suddenly, killing Sariya isn't just about silencing her anymore. It's about accessing that cash. It becomes a business decision.
The speed of that escalation is terrifying. From caregiver to murder planning, interior decorating.
It shows how quickly things can spiral when that kind of manipulative personality gets a foothold.
Okay, so fast forward about a month. Sariya is upstairs, isolated.
And she starts hearing new sounds. Distinct sounds this time. Men's voices. Loud music. Laughter. But different from before.
She realizes it's worse than just indecent talk among women.
She knows something criminal is happening downstairs, in her home.
So when Saber comes back on leave again...
She tries one last time.
Yeah.
Distraught, desperate. She tells him everything she's heard, everything she suspects.
And Saber's reaction this time, he must have been shocked.
He was shocked, yes. But remember that psychological wall Amal built? It was still standing strong. He couldn't conceive.
He couldn't make the leap to brothel.
No. His mind went to something slightly more normal, maybe. He assumed Amal was just having an affair. Bad enough, but not this.
So he confronts Amal.
He does. And this right here is Amal's moment of twisted genius. She doesn't panic. She doesn't get defensive in the usual way.
What does she do?
She stays calm, and then she just completely flips the script, turns on the waterworks.
Tears.
Buckets. But not tears of guilt. Tears of victimhood. She accuses Saber of neglect, says she misses him so terribly, she's so lonely because he's always away in Cairo.
Wow. So she makes him feel guilty.
Exactly. And the noises. Oh, that was just her and a few friends watching explicit films, pornographic films on a mobile phone.
Seriously. That was her explanation.
Yes, just trying to distract themselves from their loneliness, she claimed, because he wasn't there for her.
And Saber. Don't tell me he bought it.
He bought it instantly. Sariya apparently watched this whole performance, saw the look of fake sorrow, this manufactured injustice on Amal's face, and saw her son just melt.
Why? Why would he believe that over his own mother's desperate pleas?
Well, think about it from his perspective, however warped. Amal's story, the porn films, it asks very little of him. Just pity, maybe some guilt he can assuage.
Okay.
Sariya's story, that his wife is a criminal, his home is a brothel. That means his entire marriage, his judgment, everything is a catastrophic failure. It's too much to face.
The lie was easier, more comfortable in a sick way.
Tragically, yes.
Yeah.
Amal gave him the path of least resistance, psychologically, and he took it.
So what did Saber tell his mother?
He went back upstairs, told Sariya the noises were just pornographic films. Essentially, don't worry about it.
And Sariya's reaction?
She just gave up. She knew then that the truth had absolutely no power against Amal's manipulation. She decided to stay silent, even pretend to believe him.
That silence was her death sentence, wasn't it?
It really was. For Amal, this confirmed it. Sariya knew too much, and she couldn't be discredited anymore. She had to be eliminated.
So the plan crystallizes. Kill Sariya, steal the money and gold, burn the house, destroy the evidence, destroy the body.
Meticulous. But she needed help, or wanted help. She approached her 3 partners, the sex workers.
Did they agree?
Only one did. The other 2 apparently drew the line at murder.
What motivated the one who agreed?
Greed, mainly. Amal promised her a share of the gold and the cash. And significantly, the promise of expanding the business later. More rooms, higher profits, once things cooled down after a couple of months.
So murder as a strategic investment.
That's exactly how it was framed.
Okay, so the plan is set, the accomplice is on board. How long until they act?
Just 1 week. They waited until Saber went back to Cairo. Then one evening, around 8 p.m., Amal and her accomplice met up.
And went upstairs.
Straight upstairs. Sariya was already asleep in her room.
The details of the murder itself.
They're brutal. The sources state they strangled her manually, violently. Enough force to actually fracture the bones in her neck.
Ensuring she was dead. No ambiguity.
None. Then Amal went straight to the closet, took the 8,000 pounds, took the gold jewelry.
Secured the loot first.
Then the cover-up. Amal had gasoline ready. They doused Sariya's room, set it ablaze, locked the door from the outside, and fled.
Where did they take the stolen items?
They hid them at the accomplice's house.
But the fire didn't destroy everything.
No, firefighters got there relatively quickly and contained it before it consumed the whole house. But they found the body, charred.
And the police arrive. Criminal investigation team.
They secure the scene. Amal is outside, still playing the grieving daughter-in-law perfectly. But the forensics lab, that's where her story begins to unravel. Fast.
What did they find?
2 absolutely crucial things. First, unmistakable traces of an accelerant, gasoline, concentrated in Sariya's room. This wasn't an accidental stove fire, it was arson.
Okay, that's huge. And the second thing?
The autopsy. This is the real nail in the coffin for Amal's story. The forensic pathologist confirmed the cause of death wasn't the fire or smoke inhalation.
It was the strangulation.
Manual strangulation. Those broken neck bones told the story. Sariya was dead before the fire was even set.
So the fire was definitely just a cover-up attempt.
Absolutely. Attempted murder concealment. And when Saber returned, devastated, he confirmed to police that, yes, the 8,000 pounds and his mother's gold were missing from that closet.
So now it's murder, arson, and theft. The picture is becoming clear.
Very clear. And then investigators started getting whispers. Secret sources, maybe neighbors who suspected something wasn't right.
What did they reveal?
That this supposedly respectable house hadn't been so respectable lately, that it had in fact been operating as a brothel for some time.
Which points the finger directly at Mus.
Amal. She immediately becomes the prime suspect. Though, interestingly, police initially considered Saber might be involved, or even that Sariya somehow knew or participated. That shows you how well Amal had maintained that facade.
But Amal sticks to her story during questioning.
Like glue. Calm, collected, detailed alibi. She even named her accomplice, but only in the context of her innocent version of events, just as they'd pre-agreed.
So how did the police break her?
Classic interrogation tactic. Brilliant, really. They brought in the accomplice separately.
And told her.
They lied. They told the accomplice that Amal had already cracked, confessed everything, and had blamed the accomplice for the whole thing. The murder, the theft, claimed Amal was intimidated into helping.
Turning them against each other.
Exactly. Putting all the pressure, all the blame onto the accomplice. And it worked.
She broke.
Instantly. Completely confessed. Told them everything, the plot, the murder, the theft, the motive. And crucially, led them right to her house, where the stolen gold and money were hidden.
So with the confession and the recovered evidence,
Amal had nowhere left to go. Confronted with the accomplice's confession and the physical evidence, she was forced to confess as well.
and the outcome.
Both were eventually tried, convicted, and sentenced to death.
It's just an astonishing story of calculated cruelty. The core lesson, really, is how methodical the deception was.
Absolutely. The isolation first, then the character assassination, making Sariya seem senile, then building the criminal enterprise right under her roof. And only then, the final act of violence.
And the irony is just gut-wrenching. Saber, this son who dedicated his life to his mother,
Was so thoroughly manipulated, so psychologically controlled by Amal, that he refused to see the truth staring him in the face. He chose the comforting lie over the devastating reality his mother presented.
It really underscores the power of that kind of focused, predatory manipulation.
It does. And connecting this back to you, the listener, this case really forces you to think about how easily narratives can be shaped, right? Especially when someone you trust is telling you something that contradicts what another person you trust is saying.
Amal basically weaponized Saber's desire for a stable, happy marriage against his bond with his own mother.
Precisely. Which leads to that final lingering question. The sources talk about a mother's instinct, Saraya's initial unease about Amal.
That feeling she had right at the beginning.
Yeah. So the provocative thought is this. If Sariya had spoken up forcefully back then, during Saber's first visit after the wedding, if she had risked his anger, risked the marriage falling apart right at the start,
Could that confrontation, that temporary unhappiness, have ultimately saved her life?
it's impossible to know for sure, but
Yeah.
it's something to really mull over, isn't it?
Yeah.
The cost of silence versus the risk of speaking truth to someone who might not want to hear it.
A chilling thought to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.